Hey everyone, it's Victoria with Nutrition by Victoria, and in today's video I'm going to talk about my top tips for bouncing back after you've had a baby. First tip is to have a healthy diet and lifestyle already established prior to even being pregnant. So I've been following a high carb, low fat, plant-based vegan diet and active lifestyle for about 3 years prior to becoming pregnant, and then I followed that same diet and lifestyle throughout pregnancy, and then I'm following it now also. So the only thing I've changed is when I was pregnant, I had to make changes to my exercise routine based on the way my body was changing and how it felt. And then now that I'm not pregnant anymore, but I am nursing, I've had to make adjustments there too. But overall, I've had the same diet and lifestyle throughout, and I know that that has been the foundation for which I've been able to maintain a lean physique. So my second tip would be to breastfeed your baby. So as soon as baby comes out and you get breastfeeding established, that's going to help pull your uterus back into your pelvic cavity. The hormone oxytocin promotes uterine contractions, so you go through some cramping as soon as you start feeding the baby off of your boobies. So breastfeeding definitely helps to allow the body to bounce back faster, probably than it would be able to without breastfeeding. And then in the long run with breastfeeding, that also, you're burning an extra 500 calories a day to generate milk. So that adds up too and can help with bouncing back after the baby. Granted that you're eating enough, because you don't want to compromise your milk production by using standard dieting methods to try to lose weight. What you want to do is have your healthy diet and lifestyle established, and then breastfeed your baby, and everything's going to just happen really effortlessly. So my third tip would be to eat a healthy diet. So I'm going to talk about this again because it is definitely my secret weapon for having a lean physique and maintaining it pretty effortlessly. So what I mean by a healthy diet is a high carbohydrate, low fat, plant-based vegan diet. So there's several parts to that, and I'll talk about each one. So for a high carb diet, we're talking about whole food carbohydrates. So we're talking about fruits, and we're also talking about starchy carbohydrates like potatoes, squashes, virtually any fruit and vegetable that's low in fat is going to be high in carbohydrates, as well as water, fiber, nutrients. So you want to focus on high nutrient dense, high carbohydrate foods, and those are going to be your whole plant foods, fruits and vegetables. Low fat, we want to keep the fat low for several reasons. One, the fat you eat is really the fat you wear. Fat's a very dense molecule, and when you're not in a calorie deficit, it gets stored so easily onto your body. And then we don't want to create a calorie deficit while we're breastfeeding, or even to lose weight, because we sacrifice the rate at which our metabolism is able to function. So that's another reason why we want to keep the diet high in carbohydrates, is those carbohydrates are what fuels your metabolism. So we want to keep the metabolism high. We want to be able to support everything that you need to do as a new mom, breastfeeding, exercise. That's all going to be supported by your carbohydrate intake. So it's your fuel that goes into your car, your body. So you want to keep it running. We're constantly burning through so many carbohydrates because all of our cells run on carbohydrates. So we really need to be taking in as much as body desires or our appetite dictates, in order to be getting what we need, in order to, support the metabolic functioning of our cells, so that we can burn the fat that's already on our bodies and not contribute to more storage. For me personally, I don't eat any overt fats, and that's how I prefer it. What I recommend is to eat no more than 15% of your daily calories from fats. And then we definitely want to avoid any kind of animal products. All that stuff's bad for your body. It's bad for your baby. It's very toxic. It promotes IGF-1 secretion in your body, which promotes tumor growths, and if we eat too much fat in our diet, we actually clog ourselves up. So that can interfere with breastfeeding. That definitely interferes with weight loss and promotes weight gain. High carb, low fat, high nutrient dense, so we're not talking about refined carbohydrates, we are talking about whole plant foods, fruits and vegetables. So in the food category, I'm also going to talk about fluid intake. So that's something else that you want to just stay aware of while you are, getting your body back after baby, especially if you're breastfeeding. You want to keep your fluid intake high. We want to be taking in enough fluid so that our body does not store fluid due to dehydration. So every cell in our body runs on glucose. Every cell in our body also requires water in order to run efficiently as well. So we need to be taking in enough in order to stay hydrated. So in order to do that, you just can judge the color of your urine. You want your urine to be clear to semi-clear. If it's yellow, you need to drink more. The average adult woman, you'll require about 2 to 3 liters of water a day. I personally consume about 3 liters of water a day, as well as an average of about 3,000 calories a day. So my fourth tip, rest. So as a new mom, you are going to be up and about with your baby all the time. So it's a 24/7 job. Even in the night, baby's going to get up and going to need to feed. So that's why eating a really healthy diet that's sufficient in carbohydrate calories is important, as well as getting enough rest, because you want to be able to perform at your optimal potential as a mom all the time. I'm kind of lucky because my baby does sleep through the night. She sleeps from about 9 p.m. to about 4:30 a.m. So that's a solid about 7.5, 8 hours. And I really contribute that to breastfeeding, as well as eating a healthy diet, so my breast milk is really high quality. When my baby was a newborn though, she wasn't sleeping as much as, through the night as she is now. She was still probably sleeping about 4 hours. But so I'd go to sleep, and then I'd get up with her, and then I'd just sleep when she sleeps, and I take a lot of downtime. I rest while she plays, so I get a blanket out, I lay on the floor with her, and I just find the time to rest. So just be comfortable while you're nursing, comfortable while you're playing with your baby. Put your feet up as much as you can. Even if you're not able to get as much sleep in, just make the time to rest, and find what you can to help encourage baby to sleep the best they can as well. So my last tip, hopefully I can do that before little Peachy wakes up here, is exercise. So exercise obviously is a really important element when it comes to weight loss, and the reason for that is because it is the quickest way to increase your metabolism by doing exercise, building muscle, increasing your cardiovascular endurance. So it's all good stuff. But as a new mom, you're like, okay, well, how am I supposed to do this with this little baby that is attached to me all the time? As soon as I felt ready for it, right after I had my little precious darling, who I'll show you here because she woke up. There's Lily. Hi, Lily. Hi, baby. Okay, so I got back on my exercise bike. So I have a stationary bike. It's right there. It folds up. Okay, so we're talking about exercise. So I got right back into exercise as soon as I felt up to it after I had the baby. I didn't wait the 6 weeks. I just I did everything really light though. So like I said, I just spun out on my stationary exercise bike, and I walked, and I just did some basic stretching. And then handling the baby, it requires you to be active as well. And then over time, my body healed, and I just started feeling a lot better. And then I had my 6-week checkup, and they said, oh, you're good to go, everything's good. And then I started running again. So I started training for a 5K, just with my jogging stroller. I just followed the like a basic beginner 5K training program. You might be wondering, okay, well, that's great that she did all this exercise, but like I have this baby that's attached to me 24/7. How the heck am I supposed to work out? Okay, so products that I have and use currently in order to get a workout in with my baby are baby carriers. So when I got on my bike, a lot of times my baby, you know, she would fussy because I wasn't holding her, so I put her in my baby carrier. I used a Baby Bjorn infant carrier for the first about 3 to 4 months for her. She's 4 months now. Whee! There she is. Hi. Hi, Lily. Okay, and that was great because it fits about 8 to 25 pounds. And a lot of the bigger carriers, like the one I use now, is the Ergo Baby, and that your baby has to be about 4 months. They have to be able to support their own head in order to wear those ones. But anyway, so I just put that on. I go for a walk. I ride my bike. Now I have a gym at the place where we're living at, so I will use the elliptical. I don't run with the baby in the baby carrier. That is not safe. But what I do use is a jogging stroller. I'll put her in her car seat in the jogging stroller, and then we'll go for a jog. It's not very fast. It's usually a slow jog, but I'm still out there. Highly recommend using a baby carrier because it helps you to be more active. In order to do resistance exercises, because I do Pilates and yoga, I'll just set her in one of her little toys. She's got a little gym set up here. I'll just get my yoga mat out, put the TV on, she gets distracted by it, and I get a workout in that way too. I really think it's more about making time for the exercise and not being in your head about it, like, oh, how am I going to make time with the baby, and getting frustrated. If you're carbed up, you're hydrated, and you're rested, you won't have any issues getting in the exercise, especially if you just make it a priority in your mind. The last thing I want to talk about, and it kind of pertains to exercise and it pertains to getting your body back after having a baby, is getting one of these. This is a Belly Bandit. So it's like a support belt. I didn't start wearing one until about 2 months postpartum, but I really wish I would have got into it right after I had the baby, because what it does is it supports your entire abdomen. And it helps pull your belly in tighter because it forces your muscles to contract while you're sitting upright, but it also gives you support while breastfeeding, support while exercising. I've really enjoyed using it. I don't really wear it that much anymore because it's getting a little bit too big for me now. But I've really benefited from having a Belly Bandit as well. So those are my top 5 tips for getting your body back after having a baby. Just to recap, the first one was to establish a healthy diet and lifestyle, preferably prior to pregnancy for best results. Number 2, breastfeed your baby. Number 3, eat a healthy diet and stay hydrated. Particularly a high carb, low fat, plant-based vegan diet that is high in nutrient-dense whole plant foods like fruits and vegetables. And number 4, rest as much as you can. And number 5, make time for exercise. So I did do a blog post on this topic, and it is on my website, and I'll put a link to it in the description below. If you'd like a little bit more detail about my top tips for bouncing back after baby. If you have any questions for me, you can leave them in the comments below. Please give this video a like if you found it helpful. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and thank you so much for watching. Bye.